What's going on, guys? It's Efrum and Derz with Top Bench Banter. And on this day two, Club World Cup, Copa Oro. Had a good day one. Mexico 3-2, a lot of goals. Can't say the same for the Club World Cup. 0-0 Inter Miami and Al Ahly.
Hello, from Egypt.
Very entertaining game, though. Let's give you our thoughts and predictions for the next day, yeah?
Yeah, so going into the first matches for both competitions, I think Al Ahly and Inter Miami definitely left us with a bit of a. I mean, it was an entertaining game, back and forth. Al Ahly was mostly trying to do counterattacks, but it was a game of two halves where we saw Al Ahly dominate the first half, Inter Miami dominate the second half. Al Ahly missed a penalty, which was a huge letdown. They had a lot of opportunities. They should have gone into that half winning 2-0. Ended up drawing 0-0 for the whole game. Mexico game, again, kind of difficult to say. I was really hopeful for this Mexican team. They kind of let me down. I think they have a lot of kinks in their system that they need to work out. Playing with two strikers, Raul Jimenez and Santi Jimenez, don't normally play with two strikers for club. So obviously it's going to be something that they're trying to fix. We scored 2 goals from set pieces, which isn't ideal because you want to have a system that works, that you could actually go out and attack and score based on your system. But I think a big, I guess you gotta give respect where it's due, and I think the Dominican Republic had a good game. The first goal was a banger. He megs, I think, Lira, and then finessed it from barely inside the box all the way to the bottom corner. I thought that was a beautiful goal. The second goal, a little bit of a lackluster moment for the Mexican defense. I think the first goal also was a big error from Lira, just to kind of not really press the defender or the attacker rather as much, and it conceded a goal.
Yeah, the game. I watched the game, the Mexico game. I didn't get to watch the Inter Miami game. I watched the highlights, but Al Ahly was all over them from what I could tell. Especially that first half, those goals that could have been goals. Clear opportunities, including the penalties. Like you said, it could have been easily 2-0 at halftime. That was for them to win. I thought Inter Miami was going to come in strong. I mean, they have Messi, have a bunch of players. Um, with the experience, finishing off 0-0, kind of a letdown. Also, kind of a letdown for Al Ahly because they did have opportunities, but they didn't convert. We'll see for game two. We'll go over the games in a bit. The Mexico game I did watch. Mexico was all over them. They scored the goals pretty fast, but I think the issue with Mexico was they got too confident once they got the lead. As soon as they went 2-0 up, I mean, yeah, it was a good goal, but it was, I think, somebody loses the ball in that case, and then just doesn't track back. He's able to do what he's got to do, take long shot goal. It was a good goal. Just lazy defending, and you can't be doing that. 2-0 up. That's the worst lead to have. They almost fumbled it. They almost came back, and then at the end they had a couple opportunities. They easily been 3-3, but I think that's something Mexico to work on. They were good. They looked like a solid team, building up plays. They were strong. They had the majority of the ball. It was just once you get that lead, you just gotta make yourself a break on the back and see if you can squeeze in a couple more goals. But I never felt like they were going to lose until the very last couple minutes when it was 3-2 and Dominican Republic was knocking on the door. So credits to them. We'll see how they do the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. But again, like you said, Mexico was dominating the game, but I think they had cracks in their moments in the game just due to them kind of getting too confident.
That's what it was. All right, so do you want to start with the Gold Cup or do you want to start with Club World Cup?
Let's go into the Club World Cup because it's actually going on at the moment. While we're recording right now, we got PSG and Atletico going on.
Bayern Munich just played, absolutely destroyed Glen City. 10-0. Crazy. 10-0. I mean, what can you expect? It's Bayern, Auckland. I know you did some research. Let them know what you found out about them.
Yes, Auckland City. They didn't know much about them. Turns out they're basically the best team in the Oceanic region, Confederation. They won the Champions League 14 times in the last 21 seasons. They were created in 2004, so they're relatively young. They're just overall the best team in that region, so that's how they qualified for this Club World Cup. Another thing about them is they actually play with part-timers, essentially. They're not full-time professional soccer or football players. They all have a job. So it's going to be difficult when you can't train every day, when you can't really be fully concentrated in the sport, when you have to come against Bayern, one of the biggest teams in the world. But 10-0, I mean, it's a terrible score line and on Fatma, but it shows you the momentum and stuff. And they looked like there was not a single moment where Auckland City was close. They did have a shot on target though, so that's something.
I mean, look, these guys had an 8-hour shift, clocked out, and then went to go play Bayern. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. Just the fact that they're the best team in the Oceanian region is just, it's insane, you know? That's the level of football that's over there. I mean, obviously, it's going to vary from area to area, but to see that the best team, they still have to work day jobs, and you're the best team in your whole like region. Obviously, soccer is not a big, priority over there. I mean, it is what it is, but that's why you're gonna lose 10-0 to Bayern.
Yeah, it's interesting because it also reminds me of that one, I think, of the 2016 Euro where Iceland qualified, and we saw a lot of their players, not all of them. See, Iceland's a little bit more developed than the oceanic regions as far as soccer goes. And obviously that's how they qualified for the Euro. The Euro is a lot harder of a competition to qualify for. But Iceland also had some players that were part-timers. I think their goalie was like a dentist or something like that. So that it kind of reminded me of that, but we're going to get a different outcome where Iceland actually came out of the group stage and Auckland, I don't see them coming out of the group stage. They give a valiant effort. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like a vacation for them, I would say. But we have more important games, to say the least, with PSG Atletico Madrid, which is a huge game, I think, so early on in this tournament. Based on the lineup, I don't see Ousmane Dembele. I don't see him on the bench either, so I don't know what's going on with that situation. We'll probably do some more research for you guys and talk about it next time. But it's going to be an interesting game, 0-0 at the moment. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, both teams still have a really strong lineup. They didn't just come play their bench or their academy players or none of that. It seems like 80% of the full team, first team, is there playing. So, they're taking it seriously. So it's going to be a good game. And as far as my prediction goes, I think PSG just won the Champions League. They're going to show them who's boss. I wouldn't be surprised if they scrape a tie, but I got PSG winning.
Yeah, I think this one's an interesting game because Atletico Madrid plays so defensively while PSG plays so offensively. They have a great midfield, which allows them to recover the ball quickly and, distribute out to the wingers and start to create plays. I think Ousmane Dembele not being there is a huge let-off for PSG, at least not in the starting lineup, I should say. Another thing that I want to emphasize is Atletico Madrid. Their players have had a long break. They had international duty, some of the players recently, but I mean, PSG had a longer season, I would say, with the Champions League final and everything else. So that could influence the game, heavy legs and stuff like that. But I still see PSG scraping a win. I think it's going to be like a 1-0 game just because Atletico Madrid is so defensive and so organized in the back that it's going to be harder for PSG to attack. But on the other side, I don't see Atletico Madrid really creating much just because the PSG midfield is so strong. In my opinion, I think they recover the ball so quickly that they're going to struggle in that area.
We'll see. The two games we got: Palmeiras Porto, Botafogo, and Seattle Sounders. I'm just keep it straight and simple. I think Porto taking the dub, and Botafogo and Sounders. I'm gonna go with Botafogo. Not much behind it, but I like the crest.
I would agree with you, but I think Seattle Sounders just for me isn't that competitive of a team. But won the Copa Libertadores in more recent history. I think they come in with a better squad. In recent times, they've had a lot of players play for the national team, which to play for the Brazilian national team, you got to be a crack. When you have all those players in Europe to choose from, but you still choose people from Botafogo. Recently, they haven't gone to the selección, but to the national team, I should say, but they do have a solid squad. And I think they kept a lot of their players that did win that Copa Libertadores last season. So I think they just come in with a better squad. Seattle Sounders, I think, with all due respect, they don't really compete that much. I mean, they always make playoffs and stuff for the MLS, but I don't see them really doing that much in this game. But Porto is going to be an interesting game. Porto's not doing the best. They just fired their coach, Anselmi, and they're missing Diogo Costa, their goalkeeper. So it could be a good one, but I think Porto still has a little bit of superiority over Palmeiras. Even though I do rate Palmeiras, to be honest, I think that they have a good base of players with Estevao, Vega. They have Daniel Rios, the Colombian who was pretty famous for in the last Copa America. Yeah, so they have a good squad, but nothing happened, and he stayed at Palmeiras. So we'll see after this Club World Cup. Maybe people will start knocking on their door, but I think they do have a good squad. Versus Porto, I don't think it's going to be enough, but to get out of the group, I still believe they could top Al Ahly and Inter Miami. So that's Club World Cup. I think going on to the CONCACAF, we have decent games going in. We got USA, Saudi Arabia, and Costa Rica playing.
Yeah, some big teams playing. I think the team they're playing against, I think they should be able to handle them pretty easy. Costa Rica's playing Suriname. Costa Rica there, just a bigger club, bigger country. USA, Trinidad, and Tobago. I feel like this one's going to be a little bit closer, but, it's USA's to lose. I think they're going to take it, but Trinidad and Tobago can surprise. And then Haiti and Saudi Arabia. Just with the Saudi Arabian League just getting stronger with better players, this is going to be a good test for them to see if the players have been evolving with the league. Haiti, not much that I've seen as far as progression there. I think Saudi Arabia is going to take that one as well.
Yeah, I gotta agree. These games are kind of like a mismatch as far as who they're playing. Costa Rica versus Suriname. I think that Costa Rica is the favorite in that game by a lot. Again, with USA, Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago have actually, made it to the pretty far deep into like the World Cup qualifications in history. Like I've seen them play in the hexagonal, where teams like Suriname and Haiti have never made it that far, at least for the World Cup qualifications. So they do compete and they do have decent players, but I think USA is the better team. Let's see if they could do something. They have not been good, so this is kind of like this could be like their bounce back game where they can have a big win, gain that confidence, and just push on forward. Saudi Arabia, we'll see what the effect of having other big names in their league does for their actual national team. Versus Haiti. Haiti again, not much. They're not really known for soccer. So we'll see. It should be, I think, a big blowout for all of these. I wouldn't say 10-0 like Bayern type of blowouts, but they should be comfortable wins. I think.
2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, and I think this is more okay. Does our system work? What needs to be fixed before playoffs? Should be interesting to say the least.
Should we do score predictions at all? Or
Score predictions are hard with these types of teams, but we can go ahead and say something. Like I said, PSG, I got them winning 1-0.
Atletico missing? I think Bayern's going to win 10-0. But PSG Atletico will be. You got 1-0. I'm going to say. See, I almost want to say even a tie. But you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna say 1-1.
1-1. Like I said, 1-0. Palmeiras Porto. I think this can be an interesting game. I think both teams are going to score, and I got it 2-1.
2-1 Porto.
Well, 2-1 Porto.
Okay. I think this is gonna be another tie. It might be a little surprise. And I'm gonna go 2-2.
And Botafogo Seattle Sounders. Botafogo. I think this could be more of a comfortable win. I think it should be a comfortable win for Botafogo. I would say 2-0.
Okay. I'm gonna say 3-2 Botafogo.
Botafogo, nice. And then Costa Rica, Suriname. I got them winning Costa Rica. I got Costa Rica winning 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Costa Rica, Suriname, 1-0. Costa Rica.
USA, Trinidad and Tobago. I got USA 3-1. Just because I know Trinidad and Tobago have a good striker.
Yeah, this one I'm gonna agree 3-1.
And then Haiti, Saudi Arabia. I feel like this could be the biggest blowout of all of them. I think Saudi Arabia could. I mean, if they come in, I'm just thinking back to the World Cup, and I'm thinking, they lost to Mexico, so and that was like probably the worst Mexico ever. So I'm just thinking, how highly do I rate Saudi Arabia? But Haiti is very, very low, I think, in my eyes, ranking wise. So I'm gonna go Saudi Arabia, winning 2-0.
I'm gonna go 3-0 Saudi Arabia.
3-0. Nice. And so those are all the games, and
That wraps it up for this first week or day. Actually, it was just yesterday we made the other one, huh?
yeah.
All right, so big games coming up ahead. Let us know what you think of these videos. Try to do them daily. Hopefully they're long enough or short enough. I don't know. If you guys want to see anything else specifically, talk about any other games, any players, let us know. Leave it down in the comments. Anything you'd like to tell them.
Yeah, well, go ahead and give us your predictions also. We'd love to hear your guys' input. We'll consider it going forward. And who knows? I mean, we made some pretty bold predictions out there today, and maybe we could see if we could get some bets going on. Let's see if how confident we're feeling with these predictions going forward. Maybe we'll put some money on it, and we'll talk about it with you guys. We'll see what goes on. But as always, guys, we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.